This is the Healey Brothers Show.
So today we have a special guest. We have Josh Sommers from Focus Media.
Hey, Jay.
Local to the community right in Goshen, New York. And welcome to the Healey Brothers Show.
Thank you. I think you guys do a great job in, talking about the auto industry, the Hudson Valley. Great to be on the show.
Yeah. Well, so one of our biggest themes this year that me and Nikki talked about is really getting the community more involved, whether it's a small business, a small coffee shop, or having Heather on. Hopefully we get her on soon. So these are the small things we bring together. It's not just about the auto industry. We want the community to engage with us, talk about Healey, and also talk about how we're helping the community. We think that goes a long way with reach, and I think you harp on that the most to us is because you help us with PR or marketing and all that stuff. So first, we're just going to sort of give a little background on Focus Media and how you started, how you got to the marketing, because I know you have a pretty interesting past. So if you want to start with that, and then we'll bring it all together.
I have an interesting past in many ways. We'll talk about business.
Yeah.
So when I was a radio DJ at 15 years old, and in fact, when you were 10 or whatever it was, I was doing morning cancellations and delays on K104. So and after a while, I thought there would be a next iteration of my career. When I was a radio program director, we studied what groups of people, what demographics, what music they want to listen to. I had a lot of training from Arbitron, which is now Nielsen, about how to target those groups. I said, you know what? I'm going to take those skill sets and start an ad agency. So when I started Focus Media, and it's hard to believe it was 23 years ago. I know I look like I'm 12, but anyway, but it was a vision because I was in radio learning about demographics and how to target certain audiences. And what I found was the training that I had from a company that used to be Nielsen. They were previously Arbitron, now they're Nielsen. I took those skill sets to start an ad agency, and we started to buy media for different groups. And I started with a small car dealership and a lumber yard, and eventually, elevated to some bigger clients. And what I found is we ended up getting into the PR side as well,
which has drastically helped us. Josh keeps me on track with what I have to do and articles and stuff like that, who do I have to talk to. So it definitely helps. It's very important to do, to always be engaged with the community. It's another reason why we're on Chambers, because of Chamber of Commerce, because of Josh, and we also won some pretty cool awards this year. So that's kudos to Josh and his team helping us get to that point as well.
And I'll just add, it's well deserved. Besides being the best new and used car dealership, it's hard to get around you guys. I've bought a lot of cars from you guys, and the sales process, the delivery process, and congratulations on the best employer in the Hudson Valley from the Orange County Chamber.
Yeah, that was a pretty big one, which is really important because our team is our family, and that's something we strive to be on. We want the best for them. They live locally in our community, so we want to have the best possible careers for them, have unlimited growth for them, be able to support their families, and that's kind of our goal there. So let's touch on the Focus Media part now, because that's the bread and butter. That's your business now. Like where'd that really come from? Who are you helping? What's your goal behind marketing? And I know you have all these big partnerships, which drastically helps us with buys and stuff like that. So let's just touch on that part for a bit.
Yeah, when I started Focus, my goal was to bring Madison Avenue quality to the Hudson Valley. And when I started Focus, there might have been 4 or 5 ad agencies and basically 0 PR firms in the Hudson Valley. Now there's dozens of them, but I really saw the need for that. So we always wanted to bring great creative, great messaging, and it's led to a variety of experiences working with companies large and small. One of our fun clients we work with is Orange County Tourism. So you've seen a tremendous amount of growth in the Hudson Valley with tourism. And Orange County's got a great product, like Healey Brothers does, from Legoland to Woodbury Common. So the marketing's great. You always want to give good marketing, but you have to have a product to sell. So you have 9 dealerships. You treat your customers well, and that goes hand in hand with marketing.
Yeah. So knowing the local area, how do you come around? How do you find that demographic? Like I know we always talk about we want New York City and stuff like that, but we're not New York City.
Right.
So how do you describe that? How do you give that to your clients to let them know that you understand everything locally possible and you want to deliver the best possible product reaching your consumers?
Well, you have to know your market. So the Hudson Valley, a lot of people are commuting to the city. and a lot of people, this is their area. So with Healey Brothers, for example, we definitely want to talk to people through multiple channels. So, radio and television, terrestrial advertising is still very relevant. But then there's the targeted advertising. Who's driving the car. One of the initiatives we just started working on our podcasts.
Yeah.
And as we're finding a lot of the younger generation, they have that lean in the way they're listening to podcasts. So it's a very different audience than people having sometimes radio in the background. And I know Healey Brothers used to do a ton of print.
Yep.
So things evolve, and that's in marketing. That's something you have to closely watch, and it's no different. Certainly, it's no different in the Hudson Valley.
Yeah, that's one thing we always like. It's pretty amazing when I tell people we still do radio and TV, and all the studies point to it. I mean, it's not as much as we used to. We've obviously big on digital, which you help us with as well. We do mailers even still work, but we don't do them every month. We do them quarterly or a special event for the community, like a give back kind of a coupon thing saying thank you for such a great year. But it's amazing when you bring all this data to us, it's still relevant. And we're a big commuting. You don't just drive 5 minutes like you're in North Jersey. You're driving 25, 30 minutes to work every day.
Right. Or longer. So,
Yeah.
For example, if there's smaller radio stations that don't have the same reach, but you can listen to K104 or WPDH, for example, almost all the way into New York City. So that's an important thing to consider. And if you're not listening to terrestrial radio, we hit your mailbox or we follow you around through digital experiences. So, certainly the media mix is very important so that I like to call it surround sound. So if we're not hearing you over there, we're hearing you over here. So that's Healey Brothers does a great job with that.
Well, it's about partnership. So I want to touch on how important are your partners, not just with us, say local government or another business that we could work with. How important are those partnerships to you and keeping those relationships strong?
Well, people like to buy or do business with people that they like. So, not only reaching out and meeting people, but, building those relationships. So besides some of the great partnerships we have with media, and Healey Brothers has a lot of those same partnerships, so it was a natural when we started working together. Absolutely working with local government officials, business influencers, having those tight-knit bonds are very important. One of the things that we've worked on over the years is getting large projects approved. We do the PR, we do some of the local lobbying, and help create jobs and new taxes for the area. So a couple of things that we've worked on and had a significant role is Woodbury Common Premium Outlets. We've been working
a huge generator for income for our area, which is super important to our success.
Yeah, they pay more taxes than anyone else in Orange County. So in 2012, when they decided to expand, and it's out in the public, they did almost $200 million in expansion. They created more jobs. We were on a big role in getting that approved. In fact, they're doing a new expansion now, and we're working on that. So it's been a great partnership. And you take the Legoland. We help them navigate all the approvals, and Resorts World Catskills and Monticello. We worked on that for 17 or 18 years.
And these things like help. So I'm a Goshen person, and having those tax dollars go to the town and help the schools get better and help for foundation or repair roads, because we know the Northeast too is like this is a big part. But these projects are so important. Whether it's we're building a new dealership and stuff like that, but these other businesses that come in and you could help show the good of them, because some people always think, oh, they don't like change, but change is necessary for growth, and our little towns need that. So
I'll give you an example. So it's so important to do good PR when you do a project like that. So everyone was concerned about traffic from Legoland, and the reality was that the impacts that people thought would happen didn't happen. One of the things that we added was an overpass. They call it a flyover, so people that visited Legoland wouldn't drive just outside the village. Now many businesses wish there was no flyover overpass because they would want more business. But in the end, it's so there was a lot of fear there, and the PR was an important component. But when you walk around different restaurants, Delancey's, Limoncello, and Goshen,
can be on the weekends,
and you see kids wearing Legoland T-shirts, even some of the adults. So the positive economic spinoff is very important. So we love working with projects of regional significance to get them approved.
And you're getting really good customers too, people that are respectful. It seems like because Legoland drives the family-oriented people, and that's what Goshen's about. It's that small niche. So you're getting the right people to come to your town and spending dollars on the local restaurants, the local pizza shops, which Goshen has 1 million pizza shops in a small area. So that's great. I mean, and we're thankful to it too, because the more business that comes, it's better for everyone. It really is, as long as it's not craziness or anything like that. But it's definitely better. So I want to touch on our partnership. Can you want to talk about the history and take us back a little bit with our partnership and like when it started and how it's progressed and where it is now?
Yeah, so the first time I worked with Healey Brothers, the W.S. Healey Chevrolet store was recently purchased, and they wanted to do a really great grand opening. So my team and I, we worked on the grand opening from a video to hiring the caterer and kind of producing that. And we built a great start to a relationship with Healey.
I forgot it was that long ago.
It's a long time.
It's a while.
Yeah. And once again, building friendships and relationships. And then John Kerner, of your executive general manager, had a great idea to test to see what's the brand of Lincoln. You know, how popular is it? How do people view it? Specifically in the Hudson Valley, not nationally.
Yeah, that's why another thing we harp about, local. We don't sell cars, and we were just talking about it this morning in our meeting, to Canada, China. We want people engaged, the people that know people in the area.
So there was this influencer campaign, which I'll get to in a second, but we first did a poll. We hired a professional pollster to survey the brand of Lincoln in the Hudson Valley. And it was very cool because when we did the poll, it came in at a certain level compared to Lexus, Audi, Mercedes. And then we engaged with influencers. This, of course, all the brainchild of John Kerner. And there were 6 or 7 people, and they every week they drove a different Lincoln to experience the Lincoln brand. And we put it on our social media. We did a full test. And then we did another poll to see what people thought of the Hudson Valley, because they were sharing it on their social media. Yep. They were bragging about it.
And these are this is before influencing was like the cool thing to do. This is pretty good time ago. Like now influencing is everywhere, but I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep going.
No, this was like one of the coolest things we ever did. And this is our second project for Healey. And after these representatives, these influencers shared their social media, and we got a lot of critical mass, the number, Lincoln's brand went up in the Hudson Valley. So Healey, with such a big footprint and such a big advertising presence, was able to improve the Lincoln brand over one of the competitors. So, you know, that was our second project. And then eventually we became your ad agency and PR firm. And, you know, you guys are a big deal to us, and you're a big deal to Hudson Valley. And we very much appreciate the partnership.
Yeah, I mean, it's so important to have these partnerships. It's hard. Like, yeah, we can go make partnerships with buys, but you know that better than I do. Like better than Drew does, better than JK. Like JK knows it very well. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's one of the smartest men I know. But having these partnerships to do the correct buying and have a middleman kind of to make us like, hey, I think this is a good decision for you. Hey, I'm not so sure about it, because you're closer with them. You did media your whole life. We're selling cars and servicing cars. That's our goal. So we thank you a lot for that. And I just want to the big part about this is partnerships and local and helping the community. So they're so crucial to us, and that's why we like to be locally. Like
you guys walk the walk too. You have your own Driven to Give Foundation. Every year you raise money and also contribute. You know, basically you know, you're funding really great stuff in the Hudson Valley, making a difference in people's life. And one of the most recent things that Healey Brothers did, there's other things you do too, is $50,000 to the 2 area hospices. And that, you know, we're all going to need hospice, sadly, in one way or the other, whether it's a loved one or even yourself. Yep. And you vetted and, you know, looked at a lot of nonprofits, a lot of worthy ones, but hospice touches all of us and helps all of us at our time of most need. So that's just another example of how your philanthropy in the community really makes a difference.
Well, that's another thing you taught us too. Like, you have to get the word out there that you're doing all this. Like, we were donating, helping the community a lot, but we just took it to a different level. You helped us get there with obviously you helped us put together Driven to Give Foundation and make sure we have the right PR on it and join the right partnerships with Orange and Sullivan. With the Orange and Sullivan
Hospice of Orange and Sullivan, and then
but I'm saying that helps us put our foundation together. The
Community Foundation of Orange, and a little history there. You know, one of the things that I always wanted to do when I started my firm is be active in the community. So I was, you know, it was myself and Mike Benor from Benor Hospitality.
Phenomenal guy.
We were like the 27 and 28-year-olds getting involved in boards and other things, and it was just us. Now I'm seeing so many people that are younger now in their young 30s, late 20s that are very philanthropic. But you know, getting involved in these boards and organizations are so important. By the time I hit 40, I was like chair of 2 boards already. So, and it's a good professional experience as well. So, you know, the fact that you guys are every day are more and more involved, it helps people. And the PR that you do on it is not, you know, just to get the word out there, but it's to inspire others to do good.
Yeah, the main thing is to help the cause. We want more people to help hospice. They're always underfunded. Also, when we do building the homes are a necessity, and there's families that lose their homes. There's families that don't have their homes. Their kids need a place to sleep, or you don't realize a big one that we're still a part of is the food bank.
Yeah.
So many people go hungry. So many kids go hungry, and they help schools and all that. So helping your community goes a lot further than marketing at best price in my book. So that healthy balance of helping your community is by far, to me, 100% more successful.
And people care. I mean, they're always going to get a great deal at Healey, but the fact that you're helping others, people buy for different reasons. A big part of that is trust.
Yep.
So your 600 plus employees, they're everyone's neighbors, but the fact that you're giving back and you really care, that makes a difference. And and by the way, you're always going to give the best price anyway.
Yeah.
But but the reality is that stuff makes a difference to people.
Yeah, I think it goes. You don't know how many people, a family member you touch or someone's loved one. My grandmother was in hospice a while ago. I think you had
My dad passed away last year. Yeah.
So you don't realize how many people it touches, and it means a lot. And those, especially hospice, those last couple of days, you don't know when they're going to go, but as long as they're comfortable being taken care of, it's not easy for a loved one to take care of someone like that. So,
and you get the counseling too from there's so many resources. So you guys picked a great cause.
Another thing, you help us vet those local hospices that really are touching a lot of people. So that was thanks to you, all those meetings, and they're not easy. People see the pretty stuff on the outside, but vetting the right foundations, vetting the right marketing partners is such a huge one, and you help us set up that. I know they're long meetings, but they're important.
You guys do a lot of vetting to make sure you're giving to the right groups.
Yep.
And the fact that it's thoughtful, and you just don't say, hey, let's start a check this week to some nonprofit. You make sure it has the most maximum impact.
Yeah. So let's move forward here a little bit. So when we're talking, let's touch on marketing here. When we're looking to market and come up with a message, what are your goals there? How are you finding that message to reach our local consumers?
Yeah, that's a great question. One of the things that we've done before is do a SWOT: strengths, opportunities, weaknesses, and threats. We do that for all our new clients when we onboard them to really understand what their points of difference are. So when we run through Healey Brothers strengths, and that's how we develop some of your key messages. Yep. It's driven by excellence for more than 45 years. And then, you certainly do that. It's more than price. It's about, service. How are you giving your customers excellence, right? So you have the right products driven by excellence. You're driven by excellence with service. So you're giving a unique experience for the Hudson Valley. You're not just approachable, you're giving a trustworthy experience. So that slogan goes a really long way.
And the trust is one of our messages we're mixing with podcasting right now too.
Yeah.
That's where we're using that. So that's
people
right into it.
People like to buy from people that they like and they trust. So those employees behind the scenes and the employees on the front line, people that are the salespeople, the service advisors, they're clearly getting training, and the principles that Healey Brothers stands for, it's conveyed along all those touch points, including your people.
Yeah. And it sounds nice and easy, but we have these meetings and we battle on messages and go back and forth on scripts and stuff like that. And I think you do a phenomenal job honing it all in and coming up with the right message. I mean, we've been going at it for a while, but we always bring it back to our branding. And you've helped us create a stronger brand. It was a strong brand, but it's gotten stronger, I would say. It's a staple. We're always progressing. We have a couple different logos now that we work with social media and regular, that historic Healey and retro. So thanks to that. So how do you, when we start progressing and looking into the future, how are you always viewing of what we have to do to change to keep getting better and better and growing our brand?
Well, it comes back to home base. If this is what we stand for, like you have a brand promise, right? You're saying that, we're going to deliver these things, and we have to make sure that's what, when we crack the mic, excuse the expression, that you're delivering on that. If you were weak in a certain area and you were saying you were great in that area, then you're going to lose credibility with the public and with people that might buy from you. And that's why what I've experienced at Healey is that you're always looking to make sure that your people are delivering. And that really starts from the top down. Paul, Dwight, John Kerner, you and Brian, that you're always looking to get better. So if there's something new that you can tout, we want to make sure that's evaluated for your marketing messages.
Yeah, mix in there in the right way to make sure branding's forefront. And I think one thing that we always talked about is we're not a Hyundai store, we're Healey Hyundai.
Right.
And that you always make sure we hammer home as well. We believe it, but it's always hammered home every time. It's our Healey brand first, then the manufacturer. So all right, before we wrap up here, I just want to ask you a couple Hudson Valley questions.
Sure.
And just about yourself and what you think about it. So why is the Hudson Valley, why are Orange, Dutchess, and these local counties so important to you and always doing business here and staying true to your roots?
I was a Brooklyn kid till I was 10, and then I moved up here. and I lived in Sullivan County for a really long time. It's Monticello, Liberty, and I had some stuff go on where I was kind of on my own. And there was a point where I was living in my van for a couple weeks, and Sullivan County adopted me. They kind of, I met this restaurant owner, or I worked for a radio station at the time, and that was a really brief period of time. And what I found was, when I was in radio making no money, I was DJing bar mitzvahs, and this guy, hired me for his nightclub. So I look at the Hudson Valley as a place that really took care of me. And I've since then I've chose to raise my family here. I have 3 beautiful kids. I live in Orange County, but I'm up in Sullivan County all the time. In fact, I'll be there later today. And Dutchess County is great. Ulster County, I did Ulster County tourism marketing for a long time, but I love the Hudson Valley because there's always something to do. It's a very unique experience. So
yeah, and it definitely molded you. And one thing is, like, it is an addicting place to live, especially the foliage, the seasons. We get all the seasons, and the Hudson Valley is absolutely stunning. And a lot of people, if I say I'm from Goshen, New York, they think it's that close to the city. It's close enough.
Yeah.
But it's a different world up here. It's a different it's a way different market. It's nowhere near the same. It's the beliefs are different. Everyone is it seems very family oriented up here, which is phenomenal. And I think it's a great place to raise a family. And the schools are only getting better, and you're a big part of that. We're working with local government too. You're always involved with that. I mean, you got us more involved with talking to officials and helping those needs. So we're very, very thankful for that partnership, and
we are too.
And we got to have you back on. That was an awesome episode. Anything left you want to chat about the local community or anything like that, or anything, any tips for focus? Anything new coming?
Yeah, I think for businesses out there, every time you always have to evaluate what are you doing with your marketing, and I think it's so important that you look at what's the next iteration, and what a lot of companies do is we need to do these 10 things because they're hot, right? And they take their budget and they take some dollars from different areas, and we're always of the mind, pick a few things and do them well, fund them well, versus spreading your dollars across too many mediums. So that's kind of like an overall theme that I like to give businesses.
Think that's phenomenal advice. I think if you get spread too thin, it doesn't become relevant enough.
Yeah, like why do 10 radio ads a month when you were doing 40 and that audience only hears you, one time out of those 10 spots. So, there were some really great people that work for radio stations, work for digital companies. One of the advantages of having an ad agency is, they look globally at what your business objectives are. So that's a little plug for ad agencies. Yep. And then they can negotiate great deals and make sure you're in the right places. But we love working for Healey. You guys, you always challenge me. That every day is different, with the questions that you're asking. And I've learned a lot. I've actually learned a lot from John Kerner, as well as you guys.
Yeah,
you and Brian.
Everyone learns from that, man. So
yeah, but you always challenge us, and we very much appreciate the partnership.
Yeah, I mean that's one great thing to you. You are willing to take on the challenge, and I think if you are working with someone, a partnership, you have to challenge each other. If you're not going to grow.
Agreed.
And there has to be opinions, because opinions make success happen. So it's gone really good, and let's keep on pushing. Hopefully, you got to bring us a guest on here and jump on again. That was an awesome one. So
I was in radio for years, so I have put the cans on.
Yeah.
Brings back some memories.
Yeah. So that was awesome, Josh.
Thanks, Jay.
It, man.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, comment, hit that subscribe button, and follow us at Healey Brothers on all social platforms.